Well, apart from it being the only opera by possibly the world's greatest creative genius, there's a multitude of things that you can know about Fidelio. It's one of those ultimately fascinating and quite mysterious masterpieces that, conductors conduct for years and years and years and never really feel like they've plumbed its depths. It's really just a multifaceted work in so many ways. What does the music sound like? It sounds, let me tell you, like everything from early Mozart through to late Wagner. It was written at the same time as, roughly around the same time as his Third Symphony. The end of it not only contains some of the exact same words, but is so similar in feel to the end of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, written right at the end of his life. But the quartet before that has moments that approach, I don't know, not only Flying Dutchman, but some of the strongest, most confused parts of the Ring cycle. The quartet at the beginning is not only a strict canon, never mind a fugue, it's one of the very few canons in opera, but the opening of it sometimes sounds like Parsifal. It's so mystic, show-stopping arias, and then at the very beginning of it sounds like the very best of the Magic Flute. I mean, it's amazing how much of the span of Western music appears in this piece. It's got everything. The finale of Act 2 is, without a doubt, the most joyful piece of music I know. And it's simply an expression of human love and joy, and it has more rhythm in that final finale for the chorus than I think all of rock and roll contains. And there's nothing more foot-tapping in all of music. Well, if you're a musician, I think it's a crime if you don't know the one opera by Beethoven. I mean, just as a scholar, it's kind of essential. But as a human being, Beethoven is so special to, I think, every musician, every classical musician. I've spoken before about how Mozart was almost seemingly divine. I mean, Albert Einstein said that he couldn't envisage a more intelligent being than Mozart. But Beethoven is for the masses. Beethoven was hardly educated at all. Even by the end of his days, he could hardly add up. He couldn't do his sums at all. He had almost no education, and he was coarse, and he was rough, and he was awkward and difficult he was a chair puller at dinner parties, and just a difficult person to have around. And his genius was so human and so full of striving and yearning, and came so much just from his soul. I mean, there's mind in there as well. His technique and his handling of form is unparalleled, but it all comes from pure soul and striving. And this work, I mean, Wagner's Ring cycle, which is 16 plus hours in length, took him 20 years to write. Fidelio, which is about 2 hours in length, maybe a little more, took him over 10. So, I mean, the amount of effort, sheer blood and tears and sweat and love that went into this piece there's just nothing like it.